Hi, this is Dan from Magic Pachinko Restorations with another Pachinko video. If you like seeing these, I would ask you to subscribe so that each time I make one, you'll know about it. And I just recently opened MagicPachinkoRestorations.com. So you just go to Magic Pachinko Restorations, put a .com on the end of it, and you can go to the website, see what I do, how I do it. A lot of information there. Hope you stop by. So this video is really for a specific customer. This is a restoration I did on a 1976 Hokoku machine. This was basically a complete restoration with one exception. I did not replace the original playfield. As I do with all the rest of my restorations, everything else came off. That includes the brass nails. I pulled all the brass nails and tumbled them to get them shiny again. Everything that you see here all comes off. Everything gets cleaned. The wood cabinet got all torn apart. These boards are beautiful red mahogany, but over time they just get really grungy looking, and they were very rough cut from the factory. So everything has been all cleaned up. It's a really pretty machine. The Hokokus are quite a bit different from a normal pachinko machine. I mean, they play the same, but the jackpot layout is a little bit different. The lighting is a little bit different, and this one has a very cool attraction called the Derby Gate, and we'll go through all of that in just a minute. So that's a good look at the front of it. Let me turn it around, show you the back of it. Again, everything has been taken off, completely cleaned, and then reassembled. This looks different than most pachinko machines. It doesn't look like a Model A, doesn't look like a Model B, kind of looks like something very complex, but it's actually quite simple in its design. Cool thing about this is it has multiple switches over here, and we'll go through those in just a minute. But when you first get this machine, the first thing you need to do, well, let me back up. Most pachinko machines have a jackpot chamber in the center. This one actually has a jackpot chamber right here, right behind this plastic cover. So the balls don't travel very far. They go in from the main hopper, they feed down, and then come right across and sit right up in here, rather than going down through into the center of the machine. The cool thing about it is that you can see the balls from the other side, and when they dump, you can actually watch them dump out. So it's really kind of a neat thing. I like these machines a lot. So now that you have it, whoa, almost lost all the pachinko balls. When you get this machine, the first thing you need to do is make sure that the ball dump is in the right position. So this lever right here is called the ball dump. It's spring-loaded, and there's a little piece of metal right here that you're going to push back on. You're going to lift this up and then make sure that these two engage. And basically what it does is it, up in here, there's a slot, it puts a piece of metal in the slot like that. When it's disengaged, it's like this. When it's engaged, it's like that. So the balls run down and they actually hit this part of my finger right here. So they come down, they fill the jackpot chamber, stop. That's where you want to make sure that this is set up. If you ever wanted to dump the balls, and I'll show you that, you would hit here, this disengages, and then the balls will dump out. So again, when you get it out of the box, you go to set it up, make sure that this is, you got to kind of lift up on this, and make sure that those two engage with each other. So again, that little metal finger is all the way engaged in that slot like that. Okay. All right. So you'll see when I put the balls in. What I'm going to do here first, with all my machines, I include a 12-volt wall transformer, and what I had to do on this one is replace all the lights and redo some of the wiring. I'll explain that in just a second. So when you plug this in, you don't need power to play the game, by the way. The only reason there's power here is for lights. You notice right now this light is on, and that light is controlled by, and I got to think about this, I always forget which one, 3, okay? that light is controlled by the number 3 switch. So if we lift up on this and it breaks this contact, that light will go out. Now, if you also notice, it also trips number 2. Number 2, if you were to follow it, goes up, around, and over to here. Now, these 2 terminals would have been connected in the Pachinko parlor, and they would have been connected to a main board. So when this machine was out of Pachinko balls, it would have signaled in the main board that this machine is out of Pachinko balls. In home use, it's redundant. It's just not even necessary. So there's no connection here. This switch, I just opted to leave the harness and the switches in for authenticity. But this switch and this terminal block do nothing. This is where the power comes in from the 12 volts. It goes down through and it will power switches 1, 3, and 4. Switch 4 is powered when this tips forward initially for a jackpot, and the center light will go on, and then as it cycles, it will do light number or switch number 1, and it will turn on the 2 outside lights. So there's 3 lights up here. So you'll see it when the machine's actually in action. So right now this light is on. It's out of Pachinko balls. So if you've purchased, say, 300 Pachinko balls, you want to put 285 of them right here. So as you see, I dropped the balls in. They run down. You see them running down. Now they start to queue up, but they've gone back in here, back behind this, and 14 or 15 probably of them are ready to go out of the machine as a prize when you do get a win. Notice the light is still on because we haven't backed them up far enough into the hopper. So now, if you notice here, the weight of the balls is pushing down on this. This in turn changes and breaks the contact of this switch. So that light is no longer on. So when you see that light come on, that's telling you that there's not enough balls in this hopper. You want to take some of the balls that have you need some sort of a box to catch the balls. They will drop out of the machine right out of this chute right here. So you need something similar to this to catch them. I believe you have one of these. And you would take some of the balls and just add them here. When you get enough wins, you're going to transfer the balls from the front of the machine up to the top. Okay? So really, the only thing you have to worry about is making sure that this is set correctly. If I were to push on this now and release this, all of these balls would run down this chute and out of the machine. It's how you empty the machine if you ever want to get all the balls out of it. But for play purposes, this is the way you want the machine to be. With most Pachinkos, you need to make sure that the seesaw is kind of in a position like this, not like this. With this machine, this doesn't, yeah, I guess it does. It could be down. You want to make sure that the left end is down and the right end is up rather than it being this way. Make sure it's this way. Because if it is tipped down like this, a winning ball would come in up above it and not be able to continue and make the jackpot go. All right. So make sure this is down on the left side, up on the right side before you start to play. 2 things, this and this. Okay. All right. So now we get a good look at the front of the machine. You can see the balls are queued up in here. You can also look up in here and see balls up in here. So when you get to the point where you don't see balls there, that's your cue, your signal to start to take some balls from here and reload. When that light does come on, it will light this light here, and it will stay on. And this says stop. That means stop playing, transfer some balls from either from here or the back to the upper hopper. Okay. So I was talking about the lights in the jackpot. Initially, the light here will come on. It'll light yellow, and then it goes off, and then the 2 red lights go on. So that's kind of unique from a Pachinko. Most Pachinkos just have 1 light that comes on. So you're going to dump a bunch of balls in here, and the first time that you attempt to launch a ball, nothing will happen. It takes one cycle to get a ball inside the machine, so that won't launch, but the next one will. So we'll just launch some balls here and see if we, okay, see if we can get a win. Okay, quite a flurry of activity. Initially, with the tulips being closed, they're a small target, they're harder to hit, but eventually what happened is I dropped a ball right down through the center. Depending on how it goes through there, it will open the tulips, and once a ball goes down through here, it will open what's called the derby gate, and this orange piece here with the horses on tips forward. It makes a huge target to just drop balls into, and you'll get a lot of wins. So you can see a lot of pachinko balls came out here as a win. To transfer them down to the bottom, you simply push over. You can just grab a handful and go right up over the top and put them in the hopper. When I first started to take the machine apart, the balls from here wouldn't drop down in, and I found out when I took this apart that there was a large ball, much larger than it should have been, ball in there, which had jammed inside. So that's one of the things I believe we talked about, making sure that pachinko balls are only pachinko balls are used, not ball bearings. So that's the Hokoku. This is the original plexiglass. It is short. I'm going to leave it in here for shipping, but I did cut a brand new piece that is the right size, so that will be in the machine when I ship it to you. So have fun with it. If you ever have any questions, just give me a holler.